Welcome to a new episode of my From Behind the Bruch podcast. Please follow me on social media, on Twitter, FBTB_podcast on Twitter, FBTB_podcast on Twitter, or on Spotify, From Behind the Bruch podcast, or here on YouTube. Please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. So, morning after the Kiel game. What do we all think? First of all, I think I have to congratulate Holstein Kiel for winning promotion. Well done if you are top or second of the table after 33 games. You deserve to go up, so congratulations to them. But I'm sure that we will follow in a couple weeks. Theoretically, we do still have a chance to finish second if, and that's the big if, Pauli today loses against Osnabrück, bottom of the table, who already know that they are going down. They have already been demoted or relegated to the third division. And if they again lose next week against Wien Wiesbaden in Wiesbaden. Wien Wiesbaden are fighting for survival, so I maybe can see that, but I, to be honest, can't really see them losing both of these games. But, like someone pointed out to me yesterday, stranger things can happen. And in the end, we're talking about Fortuna here, right? So, who knows, but I think that we will finish third, and I'm absolutely okay with that. Before the game yesterday against Kiel, I was still hoping for us finishing second, but didn't exactly pan out like this. We needed to win yesterday, and I think we could have won yesterday with a little bit more luck, and if we wouldn't have played 11 against 12. But more about this a little later. But like I said, I think I'm okay with finishing third, playing the playoffs, 2 games against the 16th place of the Bundesliga. Right now, that would be Union Berlin. Maybe from all the teams being in the mix down there in the first division, right now that might seem to be the easiest of fixtures that we could get. I don't want to jinx it, but I personally think we would struggle more against a club like Mainz and also Bochum. And just the one thing that I absolutely do not want to happen is us playing in the playoffs against Cologne. I watched the last few minutes of that Cologne against Union Berlin game yesterday, and I was sitting on my couch smiling and being happy and just was satisfied that Cologne was losing, that Cologne was going down into the second division, and then they score. Right? 88th minute, I think it was, they equalize, and then in the 4th or 5th minute of injury time, they scored the winner. To be honest, I nearly threw up. You have no idea how much I hate this city and how much I hate everything connected to the city and this club. I just despise everything about the club and the city of Cologne. Everything. So, them going down, us not going up, I would consider a good season. Them going down, us going up, is the absolute perfect outcome. Them playing us in the playoffs, beating us, would be an absolute nightmare. I don't think I will be able to survive 2 games against them. But for this to happen anyways, they need to win in Heidenheim next weekend. And Union Berlin needs to lose at home against Freiburg. So I think Union Berlin losing against Freiburg, there's a good chance of this happening. Cologne winning away in Heidenheim, I'm not so sure about that. Heidenheim still theoretically have a slight chance of reaching a European competition. So I think they want to win this game, obviously, and they just don't want to lose their last home game of the season, right? So I'm still pretty convinced and pretty positive that Cologne will finish 17th and go down. And that's all I'm asking for. Coming back to us, even though yesterday for a few minutes I was disappointed that we didn't win the game and that we definitely, most likely, will not finish second anymore on the table, I'm still incredibly proud now that we actually will finish third. Who would have thought that 3 months ago, right? After the start we had into this year, not winning 4 games, I think it was, I guess nobody really expected us to finish third and even fighting for automatic promotion up until game day 33. While everyone else was losing games, was drawing games, we continued winning our games. And I think by now we are on a 13-game unbeaten streak. So that's pretty good. And we will have some momentum going into the playoff games, I think, right? Last game next weekend is at home against Magdeburg. I'm pretty confident that we will not lose that game, and then we will go into these playoff games on a 14-game undefeated streak. That's pretty good, right? But yeah, so if you ask me now, I would prefer Union Berlin, going to Berlin first and then playing them at home. I mean, last time we played a team from Berlin in the playoffs, I want to say that went quite well, even though we had to wait for weeks to get the confirmation it really went up. But yeah, let's see. I mean, it's still a few days until we know whom we will play. But right now it does look like it might be Union Berlin. Right? Bochum still has 2 games to play. They're playing today, Sunday. So let's see, maybe they're even out of contention for that anyways. And then it will just be between Mainz and Union Berlin. But now, talking about the game yesterday. First of all, I think we played pretty well. We played decent, we were the better team. Looking at all the statistics, if I'm looking at my other laptop here, with 21-7 shots on goals. We played 549 passes compared to 346. 22-10 crosses. 62% possession of the ball. So that was good. What else did we have here? Corners, right? 13-2 corners. So yeah, I don't want to say we dominated them because we didn't, but I think we did deserve a little bit more. But I mean, being down 1-0 after like 2 minutes, probably not the best start, right? And looking at that goal that they scored, going down the left wing, crossing in, and then header, I think De Wijs in the center could have done better. And anyways, I was kind of surprised to see De Wijs starting in front of Hoffmann. I was expecting Hoffmann to start the game and De Wijs maybe coming on later. But Yoon thought De Wijs was the better choice. And I'm not saying he was wrong. He made a decent game, but I think for the goal he could have done a little better. And then almost a minute later only, we got forward. Klaus gets knocked out, unconscious almost, by the keeper. Header towards the goal. the Kiel player saves a certain goal with both his hands, and the referee gives a corner. I mean, what else should he have given, right? Outfield player saving a certain goal with both of his hands. Apparently he only saved it with his left hand, and if he would have saved it with his right hand, the referee would have blown for a penalty, right? He even went to the VAR monitor to double check this scene, and he still came back not giving a penalty. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've seen a more shocking penalty decision. That was pure daylight robbery. First of all, I think you could have given a penalty for the foul on Felix Klaus. Then you 100% have to give a penalty for that handball and a red card. And these decisions could have changed the outcome of this game dramatically. I'm not saying we would have gone on and win it, but probably our chances of doing so would have been better. And honestly, I'm still in shock about that situation. How on earth can you not give a penalty in that situation? I mean, there are two teams fighting for promotion, right? And the referee thinks this is not a penalty. Shocking, absolutely shocking. Obviously, there's nothing that we can do about that now anymore, but shocking. How on earth is it possible that a referee in the second division of German football thinks that's not a penalty and a red card? That's just beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. But anyways, didn't give the penalty. We continue to play. We continue to play well. We had a couple of chances even in the first half, and that's one thing that I have to say. We needed to convert our goal-scoring chances better. If we would have done that, we would have easily won that game. With that penalty, without that penalty. But we didn't, right? But, like I said, we did play well. We did play very decent. And then in the second half, we continued to do that. Kiel clearly just didn't want to lose that game, right? I think after they scored the first goal, they only had one more good chance. In the first half, long ball, and then the Kiel player was alone in front of Kastenmeier, but misses the goal. Could have, probably should have been the second goal for them. But other than that, they just didn't want to lose that game because they knew 1 point is enough for them to win promotion. And then in the second half, I think, again, we were the better team. We played decent. We had a few good chances, right? Remember that shot gone down the left wing, then cutting in tzolis, right foot shot, would have fit perfectly in a top right hand corner, but great save by the Kiel goalkeeper. Well done, you have to say, right? And then the penalty, again, ref didn't blow his whistle, shocking. Even the commentators on TV, though, said, "Oh, but Holtby played the ball first before he tackled the Fortuna player." No, he didn't. He didn't even touch the ball. And only after the third or fourth replay, the commentators on TV said, "Oh, he actually didn't touch the ball. Maybe this time it's a penalty." And again, the referee goes to the monitor and then luckily comes back doing his VAR sign, or however you call that crap, and points to the spot, and tzolis converts easily. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to be quite happy with the performance. and with how the team reacted after being down after 2 minutes. But you also have to feel like there was a missed opportunity to keep the hopes alive of finishing second and winning direct promotion. Anyway, so how the table looks now before the St. Pauli game on Sunday is that Kiel, after 33 games, sits on 65 points. St. Pauli, after 32 games, sits on 63 points. And then us, after 33 games, we're sitting on 60 points. So like I said, if St. Pauli loses both of the games they still have to play at home against Osnabrück, who is bottom of the table, who away from home have won 11 points all season. And then on the last game of the season, St. Pauli travels to Wien Wiesbaden, who is 17th in the home table and 16th in the table overall. So I just personally don't see them losing both of these games. But again, I said that before, like someone pointed out to me yesterday, stranger things have happened. So let's still dream that maybe that's going to happen, but I think we all are fine and have accepted with us going into the playoffs. Another thing that I just quickly wanted to mention that I've read recently is the contract situation of Christos Tzolis. Obviously, we only loaned him out until the end of the season, and Klaus Allofs went on record saying that if we win promotion, there might be a chance of us buying him actually, but if we don't go up, there's absolutely no chance that we can keep him with us. So we better go up and try and sign this player. I'm absolutely convinced that even in the first division, he will be a huge contributor to our potential survival hopes. But that's all in the future, right? For now, we need to concentrate on the next game at home against Magdeburg. And from what I'm seeing, this game is almost sold out, so that's awesome. Over 50,000 people being there for the last home game of the season. I think on average we attracted 40,000 plus to our 16 home games so far. Obviously that includes the 3 Fortuna for all games that were free of charge. But even without these 3 games, I think we would have an average attendance of something like 38,000. So that's still awesome. I remember when I started going to Fortuna in the early 90s, we had an average attendance in the first division it was of like 12 or 13,000, right? So times have changed. We are a big and popular club, and reaching an average attendance of like 37, 38,000 in the second division is huge. Huge for a team and for a club like us, right? And regardless of what happens at the end of the season, us going up or us staying in the second division, I think financially it was a very good year for us, right? Look at that cup run, semi-final. We made like, I think, 6 million euros net profit just with that. And that's a lot of money for us, right? So having one more home game, hopefully being sold out, then definitely having another home game in the playoffs that will be sold out, we're still making some good money, right? So I think we are on a very good way, regardless of us winning promotion this season or not. And again, right, who would have thought in January or February that we will have secured third place 2 games before the end of the season? Right? Obviously, it not only came down to us losing, it also came down to other teams struggling big time, like Hamburg. And I still can't understand anyways why they sacked their coach Walter and hired Baumgart. Since then everything went downhill, right? And now for them it's a 7th straight year playing in the 2nd division. Who would have thought that Hamburg would play 7 straight seasons in the 2nd division? Right. And I think for the first time ever they will finish below St. Pauli this season. That's remarkable as well, right? But who cares about Hamburg? But coming back to us, like I said, regardless of how we will finish the season, I think we can all be very happy of how we presented ourselves, how we played, especially in the second half of the season after a rough start to the second half of the season, right? Don't forget that. If we would have won a couple of these games that we didn't, we probably would go up automatically and not via the playoff route. But yeah, it is what it is now, right? You can't change that. But whatever happens within the next couple of weeks, I'm sure that if we don't go up next year, we will fight again for promotion, even though obviously next year I think the league again will be incredibly strong, right? With teams coming down, like most likely Cologne, Darmstadt, I think they might struggle a little bit. Schalke will be better. Kaiserslautern, if they stay in, will be better. Hanover, Karlsruhe, Hamburg. Then coming up from the 3rd division, who knows how good Ulm will be. Maybe Münster, maybe Regensburg. Nuremberg will be a very, very tough division, so we better get out this year. For this to happen, we have 270 more minutes of football to play, and 180 of these minutes really, really count, right? But next Saturday, 5:15, or let's say 5:30 German time, we will know who will finish 16th in the 1st division and whom we will play. And then we have our game to play on Sunday against Magdeburg. I'm sure we will give everything in there as well. I'm sure we will gonna win that, because I think we want to go into these playoff games full of confidence, right? So I'm pretty sure we will play our best 11 against Magdeburg. Maybe if we're up by a goal or 2 or 3, if that should happen, we will start taking off some of the key players. But I'm pretty sure that we won't play our B team, right? Okay. So what I'm gonna do next week is I will do a very comprehensive preview of the Magdeburg game. Today I was honestly still too pissed about yesterday, about that penalty that ruined the whole night for me, right? How you can't give that. So I didn't really want to talk about that game, even though I should. Right, apologies for that. But before the next home game, I will do a 10-15 minutes preview of the Magdeburg game, and then after that game I'll try and do a comprehensive recap of that game. One last thing that I want to talk about today, though, is the sad news that we all heard about our old keeper Georg Koch, one of my personal first heroes I had when I was younger. I loved Georg Koch in goal in the early 90s to mid 90s. He revealed that he's terminally ill with cancer, that he will probably die pretty soon. I was very, very sad to hear that. Like I said, one of my personal first heroes I had with Fortuna, and I just wish him all the best, and I hope that Fortuna will make it happen, that he can say goodbye to the Fortuna fans in the stadium. And when the time comes, I'm gonna say goodbye to him as well. However that will be, but very sad to hear that great keeper that we had in the 90s. I always thought a great human being whenever he was talking, whenever he spoke. He sounded like a very, very decent bloke, and I think he had a good career even after Fortuna with Bielefeld, Kaiserslautern, and outside of Germany, Zagreb and Vienna. Yeah, so sad to hear that. Georg, all the best. You will always continue to be one of my heroes. It's a shame that he was never nominated for the national team, because I think in 95, 96 he could have had a shot, but obviously very difficult with players like Andreas Köpke, Oliver Kahn in front of you. But yeah, Georg, all the best, mate. You will always be a Fortuna legend for me. Whenever I see something online that says, create your favorite 11 or your best Fortuna 11 of all time, Georg is always my go-to keeper, because he really was the first keeper that I can remember. Or he was the keeper when I started following Fortuna. Schmatke just left when I started following Fortuna, and Georg was the keeper when we came back from the Oberliga in second division into the first division in 93, 94, 95. So he will always have a special place in my heart, and yeah, like I said, I'm very, very sad about that, and I just wish him all the best and hope everything somehow miraculously turns out to be okay. Anyways, that was it for me. You stay classy, Fortuna. 3 more games for us to win promotion. Let's just give it our best, and see you soon, guys.